Hello, everyone, and welcome to the July 16th session of Speaker Co-working. I am Angela Lewis, Head of Customer Success here at Speaker Hub, and we are excited to talk about all things the speaking industry and helping you grow your businesses using your intellectual property. As always, we start with wins. So who would like to share wins since yesterday? Wonderful to have the guys back. Kevin, AJ, John, Lawrence, welcome back.
I think I had a win yesterday. I had my first paid virtual keynote webinar thing, I guess you can call it, yesterday for the Michigan Mental Health Wellness Conference or whatever it was. But man, it was interesting because while I'm right in the middle of doing my thing, about 20, 25 minutes, my internet dropped, Zoom dropped, everything dropped. And it was bananas. I was kind of freaking out a little bit trying to get back on and got back on in about a few minutes or 5 minutes or so and proceeded to do my thing. And 15 minutes later, it dropped again. And yeah, it was just, we've been having internet issues in my neighborhood, you know, Monday and yesterday. It was just crazy, but think I pulled it together pretty well. So much so that the lady sent me an email afterwards and said that it was an awesome job. They definitely want me to come back, and her boss actually wants me to come speak to some live event they have coming up, I guess at the end of September, October, I think she said. So a little crazy. That's never really happened to me before, right in the middle of my speech, having some kind of issues like that. But recovered pretty well. And but yeah, it was a win, because it looks like I got a couple other gigs out of this one little gig, which was only like $150 gig, but it was an experience. My first time presenting my mapineering message to strictly a mental health organization. So I'm excited about it because it enabled me to really lay the template and the foundation for any other keynotes I need to deliver to that type of audience. Now I have a template on what I can do and speak towards the mental health industry, which I think is a wide open market because a lot of people haven't ever the power of a visual diagram like a mind map as it relates to mental health, which is surprising to me because it seems like a lot of mental health is a lot of garbled, disorganized mental thinking. And a mind map is perfect to organize all of that. So, yeah, so it was a win. It was a win. A crazy.
Well, congrats. Congrats. That's a really big deal.
Hello.
And it sounds like you may be introducing
I
a
turned
new
it up.
method to this industry.
Right.
That would be incredible. So,
Yeah,
so
that'd be exciting.
yeah, congrats. Please keep us posted on everything that is to come from there. Who else has a win? Hey, Ron, welcome back. Welcome back. Isn't that a song?
Yeah, that's
Welcome. Like
no Diddy.
that Jay-Z.
Yeah, it's a Diddy song.
Oh, my bad. I know it was something. It sounded old, but well, welcome back.
Yeah, that's a P. Diddy and the Family song. But they did a remix, of course, of somebody else's thing. No, good to see everybody. Um, no, it's exciting. Good to see everybody. A lot of cool things. I got to win in about 30 minutes. I got to go talk at Lethea Owens's pitch competition that she's having. So we're going to go over there and talk about Speaker Hub and how people can pitch more. Um, I miss hanging out with you guys the last couple of days, but Ange, she told me she turned Speaker Hub into a nail salon for a couple of days, and said that guys didn't like talking about their feelings, but it's okay. It's perfectly fine. I mean, it's how it works sometimes. I mean, um, but yeah, no, good to see everyone. Is there any other wins before I'll get into my topic? Because I think I have a great example of it's a continuation of our previous conversation. And it spawned off of a conversation. I saw AJ was here, but he left. But it spawned from a conversation AJ and I was having yesterday. And um, it's about how do you find out who your audience is. I think as we've been going over this over the last few weeks, people have gotten better at understanding who they target, but I don't think you all really understand the level of detail that it comes down to, so that you find what we call product market fit, right? And I'll define what that is. It's a software term, but it's one of the best things that you have to know when you're building a business, especially around speaking, because everybody won't resonate with your message, right? Um, there are certain people who are going to resonate with you based on the basics. They look like you, they sound like you, they're from the same country as you, so forth and so on. And then once they give you that benefit of the doubt, then you got to keep them with the next layer of things. So I'm going to show you what we do. And then if you go back and you watch some of the videos from 6 months ago, you'll see a perfect example of what we're going to talk about today. So, any questions before I get started? No? All right. So, when you're thinking about who you work with, what are some of the things that you consider? What are some of the things that you all consider when you think about picking a target audience or the target market for your product? Like, let's use John, right? Because I know his product very well. John, if you were picking your audience for your product, who is it?
35, 55 individuals that are needing clarity and confidence about how they want to live their lives,
Okay.
to live their best lives.
Okay. Right. So is that a consumer market or a business market?
Consumer.
Consumer market, right?
Hmm.
So does it work best for every income stratus?
Yes.
Okay. But I'm talking about your product, not the method, your product. Because every product works if you give it away for free, right? It
Right.
can work for every income status if you give it away for free. But I'm talking about your product and service that you offer.
Yeah. Well, my IM product, helps people self-discover, self-actualize, and that can be applicable to a college student all the way to somebody who's an empty nester or a divorcee or somebody who's older like that. Somebody just needs need to find direction, purpose, clarity kind of deal. So
Okay.
I don't know if
So
that's age
if,
contingent.
if you focused, let's say college students,
Hmm.
if you focus just on college students, could you build a business on that?
Yes.
Okay. They would pay you.
Yes.
Okay. And what would they pay per month? Or how would they pay?
Well, when I'm thinking of college students now, the students that I'm talking to, they have resources, even by way of their parents, to help them excel in the college world that, they definitely have money to pay for some of my courses. Coaching would probably have to extend to some parental help, which parents are now open to with tutoring and mentoring and all that kind of stuff. So it is possible.
Okay. So let's bring this up. Let's do this because I think this is good. This is going to be a good exercise, right? So the other day we talked about a person needed three things in order to buy from you. Those three things, right? All right, I'll tell you what they are. They need the ability to decide, the desire to change, the ability to pay for it. Right? So On the scale, if you worked with college students, you'll see why I'm picking this demographic. On a scale of 1 to 10, meaning 0 to 10, zero, they don't have the autonomy to decide if this works for them, all the way up to 10 until, yeah, they exactly know whether this works for them. What would you give them, John?
Maybe a 5,
Okay.
6, considering
And
that they still be undecided about what they're doing and where they're going with their life, especially incoming freshmen.
okay. And the desire to change. 0, no, I'm cool. 10, I got to change tomorrow. My life is over.
Again, probably 4 or 5, I would think. There's some that are truly that I've experienced that are extremely motivated and focused to know what they're going to college for, but then there's many more that still undecided and just going to major in beer and girls kind of deal.
Right.
So I would say probably Midland somewhere.
And the ability to pay for it, meaning that 0, it would be a struggle for them to pay for the things that I sell, or 10, they definitely can afford the things that I sell.
That might be 3 or 4.
Okay. So I go back to the original question. Um, 3 things, that's not 3 things
For people to
needed
buy.
to buy scale. Right. So would you say that this is the ideal market?
No.
Right. So could you build a business on that? Yeah. Would it be easy? No. Right. But if we were to change it from mind mapping, the ability to decide on, let's say it's going to a party. Do
Oh
they
yeah.
have the autonomy? They need to check with their mama before they go to a party?
No.
No. They're home bored. Do they have the desire to change that situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think they got to go borrow money to pay for the entry for the club or the party?
No.
You see what I mean? That's product market fit,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can add another one. Desire to, you can change what that desire to change. Change what? From bored to active, from single to having a companion, from sober to drunk. I mean, so many different things that they can desire to
Mm-hmm.
change by making this one decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have this, depending on who they are and where they are, that desire to change is going to be different. Does
Would you
this
say
make
that's the
sense?
most important of the 3?
No, the ability to pay is the most important, in my opinion.
Got
Because if I'm selling
it.
something, they need to be able to pay for it.
Right,
But they
right,
need
right.
the ability to decide because we don't want them stealing the money and paying for it.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Or paying for something without permission. Like you don't want a 7-year-old going to get a tattoo just because they had the money to pay for it. You see what I mean?
Yeah. 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 I got it.
So you want these things to at worst be a 7.
Hmm.
At worst. Like desire to change, if it ain't an 8 or a 9, you probably don't want to target that audience. Unless you have a product that they desire to change for.
Hmm.
Does this make sense?
Right.
So, depending on who you're targeting, and that's one of the reasons why it was such an important conversation with AJ and I, right? And I'll give you a great example. Let's say I target retail stores, right? Do you think that that's a good market to sell something to? Could be, right? But a retail store could be Walmart, right? Or it could be the little booth with the people that chase you trying to, hey, put this lotion on your hand at the mall. You know, the people that be annoying as hell, they chase you around. Hey, open, you want to put the lotion? Can I remove your eyebrows? Like they always got something at the little booth. Both of those are retail shops. So if I say my target audience is retail, really? Now, let me show you a conflict in what John said. His target audience is people 35 to 55, but then he said he could work with college students. Unless they're in the PhD program. you see that ideal audience is 35 to 55, but yeah, I can help college students. Answer should be no. I don't work with them. Why? Because they ain't got those desires are not sevens for them. Makes sense? And then we're just going to seem like the old people trying to tell them what to do because of the age gap. But that 35 to 55, you're in that gap, John. So that's why I was saying we have to look at ourselves as our first customers because it removes the color, age, gender, relevance, past history thing, and people just buy into us from the beginning. At least they give us the benefit of the doubt.
But wouldn't he still be able to service those customers if they showed an interest?
Okay. So let me give you a great example. Would you like to have a Rolls Royce?
Kinda.
Would you, Kevin? Do you have a Rolls Royce?
Currently, no.
Okay. Would you like to have one?
I sure would.
Okay. Are you ready to pay the $400,000 for it?
No, I am not.
Okay. What are you willing to pay for a Rolls Royce? I mean, what are you willing to pay for a car?
I don't know, 20, 25,000,
So why don't Rolls Royce make a $25,000 version?
because they have a high-end product and they are seeking high-end customers.
Yeah, they're seeking the people that fit their target audience. They can't work with everybody. Can they make a cheaper car? Yeah, it's called a BMW. BMW owns Rolls Royce. Right? We went through this with Lamborghini and Bugatti. Remember, all of those are owned by Volkswagen. They got the cheaper Volkswagen cars, then they got the Volkswagens, then they got the Audis, and then it goes up, right? But just because you can serve everybody doesn't mean you should serve everybody. Because there's somebody who can work with college students and Lawrence would be better teaching mind mapping to college students. You know why? Because they already get over he don't look like me, he old, he different from me, he ain't relevant. All of the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. Does that make sense? Right? So I saw a thing the other day that said, tell, let's see, AI and Cedric the entertainer. Let's see.
I have a question for you when you're able.
Okay, yep. Allen Iverson and now this became a huge internet post the other day, right? And it said the tale of two unks. The tale of two uncles. Allen Iverson is the uncle that's still relevant, still hanging out, got advice, probably got 6 girlfriends, and it's just a joke. But it's like he that uncle that's gonna show up. He still got his, he doing all the cool stuff. But Cedric the Entertainer is the other uncle, got the hat to match the shorts, and he got all the matching things. We both know these uncles in the Black family. The one that's still cool and the one that's got a pension.
Still got a Jerry curl. I got an uncle like that with a Jerry curl still.
Right?
The one they call the OG.
Yeah, exactly. But you got the cool unk. No, these dudes ain't that far apart in age. Right? They ain't Cedric ain't 80 and Allen Iverson ain't 35. But is that making sense? So understanding like, hey, there's an unk for that audience. Is the point I'm making, right? There's an unk for that audience. You ain't got to be the unk that got to go to every audience. Sometimes that messaging should be presented by somebody else who they already see as relevant. No, they have on the same exact thing. Both of them have on hats. Both of them have the hat that protects their entire thing. Allen Iverson just put a towel on to serve the same thing as the all-around brim. They both got on necklaces. They both got on t-shirts. Decent, that's a Rolex look like. Decent watches, shorts. But they two different unks, two different time periods in that photo. Does that make sense? So the point I'm making is just because you can help that audience, and you will, it doesn't mean that you always should focus on them. Because you know what the difference is? Two kids, both doing the same thing. Cedric gonna look over like, man, hey, y'all need to cut it out. Right? Alan gonna look over there and say, hey guys, chill. Same thing, different words. Stop all that ripping and running. Hey, yo, relax. Same thing. Ripping and running is a whole nother unk term than relax. Is that making sense? So just because you can help them doesn't mean you always should. Maybe John should teach mind mapping to Lawrence so that Lawrence can teach mind mapping to that audience.
But I got a question for you though.
Oh, good.
And so as a speaker, like we all are, if you get presented to speak to a certain audience that may be outside of, what you're defining as your target market, shouldn't you still adjust your presentation
100%.
for that you don't turn it down, right?
Well, I mean, I think you should go speak to the audience that invites you and be relevant to that audience. But don't expect that you're going to build a business on that audience.
Now, see, that was the same question that this uncle right here just asked, only phrased differently, and you understood what he said.
But let me give you a great example. I know Ange because I used to go to the schools and talk to her students. I ain't building no business around teaching 13-year-olds entrepreneurship, but I ain't turning it down either because I think that they need an example. But I would be a fool to try to teach entrepreneurs. I'm going to teach 13-year-olds how to buy companies. I'm wasting my time. Is it intriguing? Oh, yeah, it's intriguing. Do they got the ability to decide to buy a company? Nah, they mama ain't letting them do that. Do they have the desire to do it? No, they want to play Xbox and watch Kai Cenat. Do they have the money to do it? Probably not. But does that mean I shouldn't drop that gem on them so that they have something else to aspire to?
Yeah, just to be clear,
I'm talking about target audience, not ancillary people that your topic may be relevant to. That's
right.
the difference.
But in my thought process and in my business model, that's what college students are. They're not my target per se. But I can talk to them about various things. But my focus, my I am product, that's that 35 to 55 range that I'm talking about. But
100%.
I can have talks.
Yeah, again, this wasn't a criticism of John. This was just to show an example of how do we do this? How do we decide our market? Yeah, what we're doing is relevant, but if they're not 7, 8, or 9, that's probably not your product market fit. Unless you develop a product for them, a book, a free video training, or something down the road. Mm-hmm. But the ability to pay determines what the price should be.
Mm-hmm.
Is this making sense?
Yeah.
So one of the great things, and I'll teach you a prompt here you can do inside of ChatGPT, because I think it's relevant, right? So if we mention retail stores, there's Walmart, and then there is the person selling the lotion, or they have, what is the ceramic curlers. I remember every time I used to go to the mall and I was with my sister and my niece, hey, come here, let me show you how these curlers get hotter than anything. You're like, get away from me, dude. All right? They would chase you down and they sell you them curlers with the little white thing on the inside. Flat irons, that's what it was. And you know what I'm talking about, right? Now, let me give you an example. Let's say I wanted to work with financial advisors. Does that make sense? Are all, would that be a good target audience, financial advisors for public speaking?
Could be, yeah.
Could be, right?
Yeah.
So, Kevin, describe a financial advisor.
That would be someone that handles investments and banking and helps you with your banking decisions and prepare for retirement and or investments.
Okay. Denise, describe a financial advisor. Kevin, what you said is correct. But Denise, describe a financial advisor.
Someone who gives financial advice.
There it is.
Okay. Right. Janika, financial advisor.
Along with what was said, who gives financial advice, but also sets up financial programs for you.
Yep. So we got 3 different descriptions. We can go around and we'll get more. People will add different things, right? So with Denise's broad definition, a podcaster like Earn Your Leisure could be considered financial advisors because they give financial advice on their show all day, but they're not licensed financial advisors, right? The people that Kevin described that sell investments, they had to get a license. The people that Jadika talked about that puts together a plan, they had to get a certification. You got to be a certified, a CFP to put together a plan. You just got to be licensed to sell an investment. You don't need nothing to talk on a podcast. You see what I mean? So we got 3 different levels, 3 different stages of financial advisors just by asking 3 different people. So when we say I work with people within a certain age group, or I work with doctors or lawyers or financial advisors, which ones? Because I saw Linda do this. Linda's like, that's broad, right? Do you work with financial advisors at Edward Jones who don't sell any insurance? Or do you work with the ones at Northwestern Mutual that's going to sell you insurance first and then talk to you about investments after your insurance is in place? Right? Or do you work with the ones that work at State Farm that's going to tell you your house is your biggest asset. Get this homeowner's insurance and protect your cars because you're more likely to get into an accident or have your house burned down than what you are to die. So they're going to protect that first. You see, they're all giving financial advice just from the perspective of who taught them. Or
Question.
you may go talk to my guy Marvin or Greg or John who sell annuities. They saying put your money in annuities first. Don't worry about your 401k in the mutual funds. And then one of them will say, don't just use any annuity, use the index annuity. You see how you go down these rabbit holes, but we think we have a target audience, but most of the time we don't. We got a generic audience.
Question for you, Ron.
Yep.
When as speakers, we're obviously resonating with a certain topic that we're passionate about.
Yep.
Do speakers, choose or resonate with their topic, then discover their target market, or think about a target market and develop a topic for that target market?
Okay. I'm going to show you that. Hold that. Give me
That
1
makes sense?
second.
That makes sense?
What? No, I got you. You just
Okay.
1 step ahead of me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Right? You just 1 step ahead of me. When I show you what I'm about to show you, you say, oh, shoot, I get it. Right? So watch this. Let's go and let's stick with the financial advisor thing. Because here's what we got to think about. Speaking, if we really think about it from at Speaker Hub, speaking is a marketing method. It can be the product, but if speaking is your only product, you're leaving so much more on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, but let's go down the financial advisor thing, right? Can you all see my screen?
ChatGPT.
What is a financial advisor? Right? So we'll let these people tell us. So you should do this with whatever your audience that you're trying to go after. So you see, it gave us the different topics that they may cover, Then it gave us the different types on how they get paid. Right? Now watch this. Here it is. Give me the psychographics of the different types of actually, let's do something first. Let's pick one. Which type of financial advisor do you all want to pick on?
Tax planning.
Which one?
Tax planning.
Okay, so that's an accountant, right? You see how we didn't even talk about them. Accountant is the tax planners, right?
Mhm.
So of the different types of tax planning advisors. Right? So we started to learn more about them. But watch this. Here's the one thing. I want to set this up. I wanted to start really broad and bring it in because I think most of us are very broad in how we describe who we work with. But I'm going to show you one of the key differences in how we do it also, right? And when you see it, you'll say, I didn't even notice it. And it'll go back to John's question, right? So these are the different types of tax advisors. Now you got to pick one of these. So let's say the traditional CPA and accountant. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So now that we know we're going to focus on the ones that focus on tax, now they gave us the different types of advisors that focus on tax. Does that make sense? So let's pick on the traditional CPA, right? So I'm going to say, give me again, psychographics is the most important word here. Graphics of the traditional CPA and segment it by time in the industry and experience.
What is meant by psychographics?
What are they thinking at the time? Like, what's their main thing that's focusing on them, that they're focused on, that they're worried about, what they're aspiring to be, all of those things. What motivates them? So the entry-level CPAs, they're motivated by what? Proving that they're good enough, gaining credibility, mastering the technical skills. What's their mindset? Follow the rules. I don't want to lose this license I just worked 10 years to get. They're going to do everything by the book. Ain't no gray area with them. Why? Because they're excited about being a CPA. Their core values, I'm just as good as everybody else. My books are just as accurate. If you ever dealt with any of these folks, you're like, that is them. They explain way too much. They over-explain stuff because they want to prove to you that they just as good as whoever you was working with before. They still got their checklist because they ain't done it enough yet.
So what was that prompt again? Give me the psychographic what?
So you got to go all the way back to the beginning. What's the industry you're trying to target first? We
Right.
chose financial advisors.
Right.
Once they gave us the industry, we had to pick a segment of the industry that we thought we could help the best. We chose what? Tax advisors.
Mm-hmm.
Once we understood the different types of tax advisors, then we picked one of them and went deeper on them based on where they are in their career.
So give me the psychographic for tax
Yep.
advisors.
And
Is
then
that it? Is that
and then you say, give it to me based on where they are, based on time in industry or experience. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what you do? You pick one of these. You pick one of these. You don't go to the ones before you. You pick here. because they motivated by different things. This one is trying to be perfect because he's new. This one here in the middle, he's like, look, I just need to be recognized for how good I am. Right? They trying to keep their clients, not find new clients. This one here is proud. Hey, look, don't touch my client base. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm such and such and such. We work with this company, with blah, 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 rated top in St. Louis, blah, blah, blah. Me going to them and talking to them about, hey, we got a compliance course that you need to take and we can help you to get new customers. They're like, dude, get up out of here. I don't need that. Because they're already past that. They got an established client base already. But me going to the guy at the beginning and saying, hey, I got the best HR software you will need for your financial advisory office. You're like, it's just me. I'm HR. Right? Because if you say I sell to financial advisors, but they trying to sell me HR, I ain't got no team. I just started last week. You see how, like, if we miss that, we're screwed. Is this relevant? Yes or no? Before I got like 10 minutes before I kind of drive it home. But do you see how when people say, oh, I work with this group, the more experienced they are, they can tell you exactly who they work with. The more successful they are, they can tell you exactly what that person is. Why? Because they know everybody else don't really buy from them. But that's what we call product market fit. Meaning that the product that I offer is the fit for the audience that needs it. I found the people who need my stuff. Right? Then we have another thing called product founder fit. I hear what John's saying, but I would rather hear from Denise. John and Denise can give the same advice to women. They don't want to hear from John. They don't want to hear from John, right? Linda can give the same advice to women. And if she say, well, what black women need, they here to cut her off. They ain't hearing it. Same advice that Denise and Angela would give. But the minute she say black women, they like, no, you don't have the right. And now they gonna fight her. And she just said the same daggone thing. She said, she read the same script. They said, but I don't like the way you read it. Ay, Dios mío.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. For every one of our topics, I mean, all of us on here have a different topic that we like to talk about. There is a market fit for that, right? I mean,
100%.
and that's just so all of us in essence need to do the psychographics for our
Because you got to
topic.
decide who you're gonna focus on.
Mhm.
Right now, let me bring this home with Speaker Hub. Right, let me bring it home with you guys so you all can see how we do this already. I think Valencia's outside or something, right? But are we all on the same page with that? This is different than what you've seen before. Have you ever gone this granular? Right. Let me show you why it's important. Because everybody don't want your thing. Everybody don't want your thing. So we come into the Score app, which is what we use for everybody, right? And you know, we've surveyed we're close to 6,000 people that have done this so far, right? Right. So what we found about this, since we get so many people from referrals and LinkedIn and Chat GPT, we was able to change our homepage to not have to explain everything from Speaker Hub because they had already been told about Speaker Hub before they got to us. But if we didn't know that, we trying to explain everything, people just leave. Right? But you think I can talk to the person that's still figuring it out the same way I can talk to the B2B person that's trying to sell to B2B?
No.
No. The person who's trying to sell to entrepreneurs and small business owners, you think I can talk to them the same way I can talk to the people that's trying to talk at schools? You see why this segmentation is different. Now, I know the people on here who I can help the most, the people that look like me, the people that are like me. But I can bring in Odell to talk about the people that want to go to schools. I can bring in Denise to talk about faith, wellness, faith-based communities because I know her Christian background. Do you see what I mean? So you can bring in people that, hey, I'm going to interview Denise and let her tell her perspective. I can teach it myself, but some people, women want to hear from Denise that are faith-based. If I talk about it from a holistic standpoint, Janika already know pitching. Let me let Janika come on and talk about it because the holistic people gonna listen to Janika. The athlete's gonna listen to John because he was in the NFL. That's why we do the summits, because everybody want to hear from my behind. So we bring on the people that I know that can tell the same stuff that I can tell, but they're gonna tell it from a different perspective. Black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever. But I got to get them all. My brother-in-law had been to prison, but there are a lot of guys who are speakers that are great speakers like Andre Norman that have been to prison. Do you see what I mean? So you got to find, okay, if these are my people that are attracted to me, how do I reach them? I can't reach them all. So I got to bring in other folks. Can I do it every day? Nah, because they got their own stuff. But I can put on a summit and show them that we're thinking about them. This is why you need a podcast, guys. So you can bring on people who share your beliefs and they can talk to your audience that you may have lost because they don't relate to you on that topic. Is this making sense? You see how I wrapped that all right back into a bow? As to you can have your audience, John, but if you're going to lose some of them if you don't show them that you're thinking about them. Now, the people that I'm talking about these different things to, they may say, man, okay, they do bring people on that talk about that. That's relevant, right? That's relevant. I know exactly. So what are they looking for? Well, I'm looking for a bigger platform. So this surveying is really important because it tells you what your people really want. And you got to find the ones that you can talk to. And then the ones you don't feel you can talk to, you got to go get Kevin to go talk to that group. And then you got to bring Ange in to talk to that group. Is this Janika? We're on point with this? Right? Because guess what happened? Back in December, go back and look at some of our October and December conversations. 50% of our people are just starting out. We was talking about level 6 speaking stuff. They had no clue. They were just over here like, yeah, they can't do none of the stuff we was talking about back in November. None of it. Absolutely none of it. Right? But Bart didn't miss a session in November. Bart didn't miss a session in December. But as I started to go down and started to talk about more and more earlier type of psychographic stuff for audiences that are a little bit more inexperienced on the business side, Bart's like, I don't need that. I already got that. I'm just going to go keep pitching. And he's still pitching and getting booked, but he didn't need the sessions anymore for that. So what are we going to do? Now we got to break everybody off into separate sessions. So I can talk to the Barts, the Kevins, the Janikas, the Anges, the Johns in the stage that they're at, because they don't need the same message. Will I be doing all of it? No, because I can't talk to everybody. But do you see, this is why you got to know your audience so that you can go and fill in the gaps. Now, let's look at it. This is how we look at this, right? The aspiring speaker. These folks, they come to us and they say, do you got a course on speaking? We don't have a course on speaking. They already bought it from Grant Baldwin or Jeremy Anderson or E.T. or someone else. They bought the speaking course from someplace else, Udemy, somewhere else. So when people come to us, we know that once they tell us they're aspiring, they just want a free profile. Right? They just want to get out there. They just want to be able to say, I'm in Speaker Hub. That's why we still offer the free profile. Does this make sense? But for the person that's, hey, they've spoken on a few stages, they may have some video in some local press, they're optimistic but easily discouraged. They're hungry for recognition. But they done already bought the course up here that ain't delivered yet. They skeptical. Hey, I already spent this money on here and I ain't get what I want. I got a little bit, but it ain't live up to what they told me I could be. So what are they trying to find? Consistency. Cool. I get it. That's why we started them with outbound. Right? You got your profile, right? People are seeing you, but we need you doing outbound to get on podcasts to build that confidence back up. That's where the flywheel comes in. Y'all ain't hear what I'm saying. See, I have to let as if I'm going to teach business, I got to teach business. This is for aspiring speakers. They're the ones waiting on the host to find them. Once they tell me that, I know they don't know nothing. This is for the emerging speakers. When they start reaching out, they're willing to do some outbound. But what do they need to start? On podcast. Telling their story, getting used to their story, building their confidence that, man, I got some reviews, people talking about me. This is great. They develop what their thought leadership is. Then they let's put this in a media outlet. Let's see if Forbes will cover you. Let's see if they'll establish you as who you are. Now take that and go get a local gig. You see how this is just moving this is built around this. I didn't just print this out just to talk to y'all. No, this is what we've had from the beginning. This is why the flywheel works. You know why the flywheel works? I'm going to play a video and we're going to close on this video and we'll come back tomorrow talking about it. But the flywheel works because of what's going to be shared in this video here. Instagram ET. The flywheel works because of this. Let me know if y'all can hear.
My message is not.
You can hear him, right? Okay, perfect. So
now, Jesus himself was about 30 years old when he got on stage. We see him go viral at 12. He don't get on the stage till he 30. Now, he went viral at 12. So at Cinnabon, you go viral at 12, and at least by 13, you get on stage. You go viral at 12 and you don't get on the stage to 30? No. I just want to make sure we're clear. You are rushing to get on stage when the Messiah did not rush to get on stage. He was not rushing to get on stage. Next slide. Here's the problem. Stop being obsessed with the stage and be obsessed with the stages.
That's it. Mic drop moment.
Now, Jesus himself was about 30 years old.
Mic drop moment. Right? We're obsessed with the stage and not the stages. We don't want to get better. I get speakers all the time who are brand new saying, I need to speak at 5,000 people arenas. And I'm like, well, show me your speaker reel. Show me. Well, no, I don't need all that. If you was as good as you say you are, cool, bro. You see that door back there? Going out of it. Right? Because I can't help you. Because they taking it personal. And when you take it personal, you become what? Uncoachable. Right? But if they just went through the stages, hey, because guess what? You know what happens? I convinced somebody who's brand new that they need to be doing corporate gigs and using the flywheel to do corporate gigs and pay us $3,000 a month for done for you. Is that product market fit? That's malpractice. That's malpractice. Now I done sold somebody something that they don't need. Denise, when you purchase your lifetime account, how hard did I try to upsell you to the biggest one?
Not at all.
Exactly, because that's malpractice. She knew what she is. She knows what she needs. It's malpractice, guys. But nah, someday you could be that. And no, not over here. not at Speak Up. We're gonna let you be self-aware, meet you where you are, but give you the path. Hey, she asked, if I wanted to upgrade as I want to grow, how do I do that? You just pay the difference. but we're going to meet you where you are. Is this making, I got 30 seconds. Is this tying the bow on it that find your audience, help them, the main people that you can help, reach them where they are, that you can help them the most, but show them the pathway up, but also don't be afraid to provide some things that you can provide with leverage, maybe a free training, a book, something that's affordable for the people that are further down. Right? So when we go through that one page that I was on, I don't know where it is. Let's see. Where's my page? This is Alex Hormozy stuff. Okay. All right, maybe I missed it, but it don't matter. But you can see, so we know what works for each one of our speakers, right? We know the established speaker, they're probably trying to figure out an assistant, right? The expert speaker, they already got it in place. They're looking for more consistent bookings. They're not just trying to get on podcasts. They already got somebody that's doing it, like Ann McNeil, right? She's already investing in getting these things done. I ain't got to, she don't need no motivation. She don't even come. She sent her people for accountability. She ain't coming on here. No, does that mean that nobody should come to our calls? No. But as I talk with you about where you are in the business, I got to give you that for where you are. In November, I was talking way over their heads. And that's not an accusation. That's not bad. Because this is more effective. It's more effective if I talk about things you can actually implement and get results from versus talking about these aspirational things where you just grinning and nodding your head, but you ain't doing none of the stuff. You can't take somebody who just got saved today and make them a deacon. You can't. That's when they end up embarrassing the church. Because as my grandma would say, they ain't tarried with the Lord long enough. Y'all know, see, there it is. I'm just showing you. You got to tarry with the Lord for years before you, yeah, that's why them old deacons be looking at them young deacons like, man, if you don't get up out of here. I see how you look at the women in the church. You know, the old deacons know all of the old temptations. Okay, y'all don't want to talk about it, but y'all get what I'm saying. You got to reach the people where they are with the message. Does that make sense? I got to hop off because I got to be respectful to Lethea. Hopefully this was helpful. Ange, can you answer any questions that they may have? But I got to go over to Lethea's thing. But hopefully this was helpful. We'll continue this tomorrow. But this target audience thing is the most important thing in your business because we waste so much time selling to people that we shouldn't be selling to. So when you go give that speech, only a certain group gonna come up to you afterwards, Denise. You shouldn't want everybody in the room because it was kids in the room, it was men in the room, it was younger people, it was older people. When the people come up to you afterwards, they should look like you. They should sound like you. Is this making sense? So don't build a message for everybody. Got it? But we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but I got to hop off, okay?
All right, Brian.
All right, let me give you the thing because I wanted to close the session.
Okay.
All right, I think it's going.
Okay, I think Brian is gone. Okay, any questions or thoughts about what Brian said? We are at the top of the hour. So
My question is about the dashboard feature. I remember last week we were told that will be coming out on Monday, and I don't see that on my account. Is there a reason for that?
Because it's not ready.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not ready yet. When it gets ready, we will let you know. Yeah, things take longer than we had anticipated. All right, Kevin.
Yes, Ron was talking about breaking us into the various groups for us to, get more effective coaching. When do you guys anticipate that happening? Is there a time frame? Just
Kevin,
curious.
thank you. Thank you so much for asking that. That will happen this year.
That'll happen when?
At some point this year. No, I don't, we don't know the exact time. We're building the new platform. So originally we wanted to have the new site ready by July 4th. However, there were some challenges on the tech side with all of the different plugins. So we just decided to build our own. And so we made that decision last week. So within the next few months, absolutely.
Okay.
So we just have to rebuild, but it will definitely, everything that we have committed to from speaker launch formula, everything we committed to is in process and will happen. The timelines have just shifted. We're obviously always here for you if you have questions. So Kevin, you don't have to wait until that moment to ask questions or to ask
Oh,
for
yeah.
help. We're here for you.
Yeah, I was
Sharon?
just asking because it seemed relevant to what he was discussing. That's all.
Yeah, it was so relevant and it's coming. Gosh, we talk about it all the time, but our team is building for sure. Hey, Sharon.
Hey, I don't have a question. Pretty much, I just want to say I really appreciate you and Ron, and especially just being so open about like what happens in the background. Because like for those of us who are new, and even I say just being customers, and even though the questions are relevant, it's like, oh, you said, you're going to have this and that. But the realization is until you put something out there, you're just not going to know, And so I really appreciate it's almost like a real live, like we're inside a lab of a business, and we get to see their ups and downs. And to be honest, put like this, I always felt like I was a good customer, but now it even made me more of a better customer, especially for this small businesses, because anything can happen. And if we as individuals can't understand the nuances, and then we may need to draw back and start over. But you all continue to allow us to be a part of it and just let us know what's going on. But I just want to say, I really appreciate of you all being transparent and just letting us see how a business grows.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for that. We talked a lot about show your work. We're committed to being a company of integrity and showing everything and how we're building it. And so thank you for just recognizing that because it's a core value of ours. Jadika and then Bonnie.
Angela, I just have a question, and that relates to I must still be blind. I cannot find the dates on the YouTube for the videos. Like, when I take my notes, I may say I want to go back review, but I still can't find the date. I don't know where it is.
The date that it was.
Say like you're taping this now. If I want to go back and view this on YouTube, the dates aren't showing of the exact date of the presentation. That's what I'm, looking for on YouTube. Where is it? So I'll know, because usually I have to go through a whole lot of videos to find out the one that I really want to look at.
I know what you're asking, and I know what the problem is. When you go to, I'll show you. When you go to speaker co-working, for example, we're co-working all of our past episodes are listed here, which is from our YouTube. But the date is listed on the thumbnail. However, when you click on the video plays. And that's why Ron started saying the dates in there. Let me think through that. Ron says the date and it's listed on the thumbnail. We go to our speaker hub really quickly to see what you're seeing on YouTube because it's It's on there. It's just kind of small. So here, let's see there. Okay. You see above clear over clever, it says July 11th, 2025. Over You're the Monopoly, it says July 10th, 2025. So it's listed there in the thumbnail.
So that's on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So if
on
you
the
go to
YouTube channel.
YouTube, go to
Okay.
Speaker Hub, and then go to videos.
On
and
the
then-
YouTube channel, that's where the dates are.
Yes, it's on the thumbnail above you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bonnie?
Yeah, just harkening back to what Ron was talking about with podcasts and stuff, and not trying to jump into the big pool when we're just learning to dive. I've been on a bunch of podcasts and they've all been great, and I haven't been like looking at them to see, oh, is this really new, or just how many listeners does this one have? And I'm just whatever comes, I get on, and I'm grateful for that. And it's paying off, because then yesterday I got the replay for the podcast. It's also a syndicated radio show called Answers for Elders, and saw that there were just under 4,000 views on that podcast. And where, I've been looking at things with like, ooh, 20 views, woohoo, rocking on. But that one had a ton of views. So, it's just do it. Take what's there and go. Don't even like worry about what its value you think it might bring to you, because we never know who's listening on anything, right? But that was really fun to see. The numbers are starting to go up. So thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That is exciting. Yeah, just take them all. And there's a lot to be said for a compound effect and the momentum that you gain just from doing the work. So keep it going. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Definitely come back tomorrow so we can take a deeper dive into target market and product market fit. And if you have questions, sure to think about your business. Some with questions, Ron, happily answer those. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for staying, Kevin.